Hey, gonna go into the hallowed chamber of the master studio, um, filled with other people's energy and artwork too. Right, here we go. I'm walking in, and you can see the auric field changes with the social conscience all around me. There's a lot to get through in this room, and I will attempt. I may do this in 2 clips. Thanks. Right, not looking at me anymore. This is Alan Dove's work. So you get the gist. This is actually material taken from that place. Alan's digitally rendered this photographic print, and the image that he's chosen is an organic stain on some kind of brick wall. He has digitally mastered it with contrasts and whatnot, but he says that this wasn't a painting. It is a naturally occurring portent of phantom, as you know, mildew, moss, and whatnot often grows on buildings, and I think that's a very interesting thing for a photographer to capture, because essentially a medium is exposing itself through, yes, it could be random, or it could actually be some kind of poltergeist that's communicating through the medium of material nature, which is like an exposure on film, I would argue. So I think this is interesting. And of course, the text goes on to talk about the glories of the Jewish belief system in helping humans to evolve. And the work is called The Contradiction. Next in the show is a framed work on paper that I did, and it's in the corner quietly. I don't think anyone's seen it as yet. It's I think I've called it war drawing, but it's a loose structural sort of assemblage, collage, and to me it looked like 2 chaps having an explosive argument. It's a reductionist, simple drawing. I call it a drawing, and I've framed it. It's from New York. I made it when I was the resident over there in the ISCP program, and there's some text down there which is integral. I will read it to you. Cocksucking faggot ass bitch and dumbass wanker fuckwit. Yes, that's right. And that's 2 chaps having an argument. It could be Hamas and the IDF. Who could say? Another work of mine, and you can see the relationship between the rubble pile down here in the corner, which I call my palette or midden, and this is what I build my strips from. This is a work in progress of a construction I have taken expressionism and chunky bits that have feeling in it when you do it, the transference of emotions into the matter of a painting, expressionism, and I have turned that into an expressionistic frieze of language forms that dangle and have dimensional capacity. The term apocalypse means veils falling. Rather than destruction, it means to reveal. I've tried to reveal each little language construction here, and it is about creation and destruction, chaos and control. Controlled demolition, perhaps, is another way of saying it. This work wasn't done for the show. I had already done it. Those of you who look at my videos reasonably regularly, this is actually called Gracious Host. And why would it be called Gracious Host? Perhaps because life itself is hosting the carnage and sacrilege of mankind. Perhaps DNA or God even is hosting our psychodrama of perversion and augmented realities, the synthetic deconstruction of reality that is life in the universe, and man knowing a deeper form of being. We have crawled inside a synthetic husk of an oil economy that is now a corporate plantation that is overwriting natural law. And this is a cult called science for the last 500 years. And there's a lot written about this process. It's a tactile work. I am comfortable making like this because it's the child that I was in a mentally ill, domestically violent home, and as a weaponized child also of feminism. There's a sort of comfort to at least being honest about inner forces that I feel are current in our cultural moment externally. What I mean to say is that we have been mind controlled and mass violence has occurred to us as New Zealanders by corporate forces, COVID being the obvious one, but arguably culture itself in New Zealand has been a mind control experiment through academic plantations for quite some time. Although troubling and questioning about the nature of what a painting is in the South Pacific, or even what human art is, unmediated, vital honesty does exist still in the eye of the beholder. I've curated my friends and colleagues' works in the bulk of the gallery, and I want to go now to you saw Leslie speak about her artwork the other day. If you have been looking at these videos, Leslie is the philosopher, artist, and who read her artist statement the other day. Leslie is an old school friend of mine from Hagley High, and this object came immaculately packaged, like a real one from a shop, including refugees, toys, animals, babies, sticks, and these are stuffed toy, hand-painted diorama items for the Palestinian sandbox, complete with World War I cannon, or perhaps even earlier than World War I. Baby, hand-painted rubble, bomb, and a self-portrait of grumpy, frumpy philosopher teacher mum. Fatah, Fatah. Yep, very clever, very disturbing little piece of psycho voodoo artwork. The cotton wool could be smoke, of course. Very impressed with the apt social commentary and psychological wargame of the narratives we consume, as Leslie was speaking about the other day. The black tablecloth is a relic from my dead brother who hung himself in 1998. In fact, there he is in another work of Leslie's. That chap there is apparently my brother, and there are other people in our peer group there having a alcohol drink at a place in Littleton. Charming folk art. This is still images of Gaza that I downloaded easily from the internet. A former people of a high culture being reduced to Stone Age levels, including life expectancy. There's a march. Now, analogous to my artwork and the show is the psychospell of this genocide. Isn't just a real war in the Middle East. I believe it is so publicly visible as a symbol for our own deconstruction in the West generally. The advent of AI and mRNA vaccines, cognitive decline, synthetic nanobiology, nanotech inside our bodies. That's my take on it. Certainly not part of the protest movement's take on it. I sort of think a lot of this is an analogy for what's happening to all of us. This work, and I've got a video of Rick who made this. Rick's was the first work I actually obtained for this exhibition. This is a menorah, which is a Jewish symbol. And he's affixed knives on it, which normally it's a candlestick. Rick was talking about excuses around killing, kosher killing. He was looking at kosher killing. I believe these are butcher's hooks. Rick is in a couple of punk bands in Nelson, and has a degree in sculpture and art, I believe, from Nelson, for whatever that's worth. Rick has a very creative lifestyle with his family in Nelson, and I'm proud to show his sketch sculpture, and it's a potent symbol. It's actually really hard to install as it was quite heavy, and I installed it all on my own. I've put it on this safe bar. This work here is from Amanda Burgess. It's called Angst. Amanda is a good friend of mine in Wanganui at the moment. It's one of a series of 3 works that Amanda gave him the set. 2, 3. I would say that they're small experiments in tone and feeling. That's simply Angst, I think, captures it. Amanda also writes a lot on the back. When there's some things aren't easily put into words but are felt, like watching a boy making food out of sand because he is hungry. That's why I love Amanda, is because she gets to the point. She's a survivor. So often survivors also feel around what's happened to them. This is another back of Amanda's work. In remembrance of all the innocent babies and children killed in this genocide, savagely cruel and brutal inhumanity, a massacre of evil. And to those still alive, may this ceasefire on the 10th of October last. As we know, Israel has a track record of not honouring them. And those, I don't know. And those are the numbers Amanda has gathered to do with it. Children murdered by Israel, blood, sacrifice. Indeed. So, when we speak of children being hurt, I would like for us to remember our own child in the school system, or whatever system you like. This work, War A, is a collaborative work between a friend of mine who goes by the name of Scarcity. It's a sketch. It's 2 components, a roller skate case and a World War, well, we don't know what World War, it could be 2, probably 2, World War II Nazi helmet. And then it's a collaborative because I placed it on this doily box and have thrown in a few items. So it clearly, symbolically says that America is Nazi and fascist. Although it wasn't intended to be at its genesis. This is also a warehouse stencil for one of the packaging. Rick, who made the kosher killing piece, also made this piece, the star-bellied sneetch, with the pork crackle. And an unusual opening there, alluding to more. The star-bellied sneetch and the sheriff. Playful, whimsical, and scary. I'm going to cease this particular video because it's 20 minutes, and I'll continue the riveting saga of James's main studio tomorrow or whenever that happens. Thank you for your attention.